chilly, windy February day, but there are signs of spring everywhere, so that's encouraging. We don't have long to go now. But today I wanted to talk to you about perennials. So someone actually commented on one of my last videos and said that they would love to hear my top 10 perennials. So I thought it was quite an exciting topic. I love perennials because they come back year after year. They get bigger and bigger, and then you can split them and you have more plants. And they also, a lot of them come out whenever you don't really have many other things in the garden. So I was very appreciative of my perennials last year. So I'll go through my top 10. So number 1, Achillea. So you may be put off by thinking that perennials were quite expensive. So that was my thought whenever I started flower farming. So I didn't plant very many perennials, and it's something I actually wish that I had done because I'd be reaping the benefits now. But in later years I have planted a lot more. But you can grow a lot of them from seed. So it doesn't mean that you have to be out loads and loads of money at the garden centre. You can start them. So Achillea is my number 1 perennial. So it's lovely, also known as yarrow. You get so many different varieties and types. One that I love is summer berries. Very lovely. There's like pastel colours, there's deeper reds and pink tones as well. I would do these in succession, so I actually still have some outside from years gone by, so perennial. So they will come out quite early. Then I have ones in the polytunnel waiting to go out within probably the next 2 weeks. And I'll keep those in the polytunnel, I think. And then I'll be starting some as well from seed. So it's like a continuous cycle. So they are a lovely filler flower. And they look really great in posies. They look lovely, even just in the garden. They're quite tall, quite stately, and very, very beautiful. So really highly recommend those. Number 2, Delphinium. I was trying to think of which variety of delphinium that I would recommend, but the truth was I couldn't really think of one because they're all so gorgeous. So I think really tall, like spires that stand out in the garden. So they're lovely as in a wedding or for a cut flower, but they're also just really beautiful in your bed, and beautiful, and they dry, and I just love them so much. So they come in like dark blue, light blue, white, like a really deep purple, like navy colours. There's so many stunning varieties, so I highly recommend those. So I grow those from seed as well, and I have ones that I have grown for years and years and years that are lovely, and I see that they're coming back now. I saw them the other day, they're about this size, so I can't wait to see those. And they'll be in flower probably in June time, which is nice when there's a wee bit of a gap with some of the annuals that are outside. So it's nice because you've plants and there's some colour outside, whereas a lot of my annuals will be in flower in the polytunnel in like June time, but not really outside. So highly recommend those. Number 3, I had to write these all down because there's not a chance I would remember all this. Number 3, Sanguisorba. Now this is quite a new one to me. I had seen a lot of people growing it, and I always thought it was quite nice, but I actually didn't grow this from seed. I bought plug plants, and they were in flower. I think I planted them maybe November time, and they were in flower the next summer, so they were really, really great investment. Now they are like little raspberries. That's the only way I can think to describe them. They're a claret colour. They're gorgeous. Like when I grew them this last year and had them in my posy classes, everybody took them and everyone was commenting how much they loved them. They're gorgeous in like buttonholes. They're really lovely planted in amongst other things because they kind of like spike up over things, and they're like little tiny things but loads of them. So look those up because I really, really love those. I wish that I could probably grow another 20 plants of them and still use every single stem. So really recommend those. Number 4, Astilbe. Oh, you'll know Astilbe. How beautiful is Astilbe? Another spire type flower, very elegant, gorgeous in weddings. The one that I really love is Avalanche. So it's white. The ones I would mainly grow would be white and like a light pink. I know you get them in like reds and things as well. So I think I have actually one in red, but the white ones and the pink ones really seem to have just like taken over and gotten massive in the last couple of years. So they are gorgeous. They're very, very popular. I actually did dry those as well, and they looked really nice. And they lost their colour a bit, but they looked really like nice in it, like a wee wreath and all. So really recommend those. Number 5, Sedum. Oh, you'll know Sedum as well. They're so stunning. Massive big heads on them, quite short. The ones I have are quite short anyway. The ones that I love are Autumn Joy and Purple Emperor. So I grew sedum last year and used it in posies from about maybe early August on until maybe November, until actually the autumn wreath workshop, and I harvested every single last bit of it, and it was all used because it dries lovely too. So it's nice, another like real filler flower as well. It's like lots of tiny little petals like on a big massive head, so it's a really gorgeous one. There's ones I'm like looking at for this year because I really need to increase my sedum because they were so popular and I did not have enough last year, but love those. Number 6, Lady's Mantle. So I don't know if this is quite popular, but I find it really useful. So it's like a lime green, and it grows like anywhere. I actually had a pile of it growing out of a wall, and actually had to get rid of it because it was in the way, but it's really fabulous. Another filler as well. So it comes out here in about the same time as some of my Ami, and I just love the lime green and the white Ami as well, and then even just like a wee pop of like a jewel tone. It's really useful, really useful filler flower. Number 7, James. Now there's some behind me here. They are probably going to come out, I would say, in May, and that is a brilliant time because there's not just as much in May as I would like. The ones that I really love, we actually grow quite a few tangerine ones and a lot of orange and some red, but the ones I love the most are the Mai Tai ones. They are apricot coloured, so they're so dainty and they look lovely. If you're doing like a tablescape or something and you have lots of little bud vases, they look so beautiful in those, or even in bouquets, bridal bouquets, things like that. They're really beautiful, so I adore those, and kind of match the sunset as well because of the oranges and the reds and the apricot colours, and they just look really spectacular. Number 8 is phlox. Now I know in my last video I talked about my top 10 annuals that I like to plant, and phlox was one of those. This is actually like a different type of phlox. It's perennial phlox. The one that I love the most is White Admiral. It has a massive big head on it. It's so white, it's perfect for weddings, and it looks really great. So if you're growing it in your garden with something else, but because it's so white, it makes everything else really stand out as well. So I love phlox, it's so stunning. Number 9, Rangium. So you might know this as sea holly, thistle. It's very popular in weddings as well, and cut flowers, you see it quite a lot in bouquets. The one that I love is Blue Star. I love the white ones as well, I think they're really gorgeous, but the one that I really love is the Blue Star one that is so bright blue. It's like really lovely. It's not like the darker shades that you see sometimes. It's like a really stunning colour that you don't really see that much. So I think that's why I love it. It sort of like almost shines. If the sun's shining on it, it like reflects blue. It's so stunning. It's quite prickly if you were to touch it, so, but it's an absolute winner. It's so good. Number 10, lupins. So I feel like lupins maybe went a wee bit out of fashion over the years, but and actually I have to admit that I wasn't really growing them for a while because I wasn't really sure. They kind of reminded me of like something really old fashioned. And then I grew a few because someone gave me seeds, and then they self-seeded and they ended up growing in over our stoned area and just everywhere. And they were so beautiful. Everyone commented on them. The bees loved them. You get them in so many different colours, like yellow and pink, purple. Ones we have are quite dark purple. The ones I have grown this year, because I always start those from seed and start them in the autumn time. So I've got quite a variety of colours this year. So they're beautiful and they're really cottage garden, really stunning flower. So those are my top 10. There are so many more perennials. They are such a useful thing to have in your garden. I know you might think like about space and things like that, and that is a consideration because some of them do grow quite tall, and you're maybe thinking you might want to take things out and replace them with annuals. So it depends on your situation and what you're going for. If you're going just for fun, if you're going for just your garden for it to look really nice, probably perennials are your way to go. If you're doing a flower farm and you need a lot of different varieties and you need to change things quite often and do a lot of successional sowing, it might be a wee bit more difficult. But I love perennials because you don't really have to do that much work with them either. You just let them grow, because behind me they're just coming back now this year, and we've done nothing. Basically we've just weeded around them, and there'll be a massive show here, and we're going to put more beds all along us and put in a lot more perennials because that's how much I love them. But there is one more that I want to show you, and it's a super special one, so let's go see that now. So have a look at this hellebore. Isn't it just beautiful? So I know I talk a lot about growing your perennials from seed and how much money you can save, but I was in the garden centre the other day and I saw this and I could not resist. I thought, what an absolute stunner. The colour on it was so beautiful, and I just love hellebores. They're not in my top 10, but I love them as well. They come back every year too. So this one will always have flowers in February, whenever there's not really much else growing. So I just couldn't resist and I just love it. And then I realised that the name was Victoria and I just knew it was meant to be. So I got this plant just for myself for a little Valentine's present. Why not? So I hope you enjoy this video and you got some tips from it. If you are growing any other perennials, leave me a comment and let me know which ones, or if you're maybe thinking of starting from seed, because we're getting into that time of year now, let me know which ones as well. And don't forget, if you're not already, to subscribe to the channel and also to hit the notification button so that you get notified whenever we bring out any more videos. And I will see you next time. Happy gardening!